Thank you, Greg, and welcome to cool and sunny Cleveland, Ohio, where today the Browns host the Miami Dolphins. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Criqui with Steve Berline. When you talk to people around the National Football League, virtually all of them will tell you the Dolphins are a lot better, they think, than their 3-6 record. Two teams that'll tell you that are Super Bowl contenders, Carolina and Denver. The Dolphins have beaten them both, but Dolphins coach Nick Saban says we have to develop the confidence to make the plays to break through. And today they'll have to get a guy that hasn't played much, Steve, to make plays at quarterback.
No, they're starting a guy named Sage Rosenfels today, Don, a guy maybe you haven't heard of before, but the Dolphins feel very confident that Big Sage can do the job. He's only started, this will be his second game starting in the NFL, but the team believes in him, he believes in himself. There's a big difference between being a starter and being a backup. How he responds to that challenge and how his team responds to him today will be huge keys in determining who wins this ball game.
They had quite a game, these two teams, last December down in South Florida. The Dolphins won it in the last minute on a Mare field goal from 51 yards out. And when you look at the numbers, there are a lot of corollaries between these two teams. They are both 3-6. Both have yet to win in their division, both coming off 4 and 12 years, both with new coaches and new quarterbacks.
Well, both teams, Don, started out the season very well, 2-2. A lot of reason to be excited, a lot of reason to be hopeful. But since then, both teams are 1-4. You look at the yards they've gained per game, the yards they've allowed per game, very similar, almost mirror images of each other on paper. But the one glaring difference is that the Miami Dolphins at 3-6 are still right in the middle of the AFC East. They're only 2 games back of the leaders, New England. If they get on a run here the last 7 games of the season, they've got a very favorable schedule. They can make some noise and have a serious chance of getting to the playoffs.
The strength of the Browns this season had been defense until last Sunday night, when the Browns were literally taken apart at Pittsburgh by the Steelers.
Oh, their defense last week against Pittsburgh, it was not the same defense that Cleveland Browns fans have been accustomed to seeing. They gave up 34 points, 27 unanswered, 159 yards running. Pittsburgh ran right over the top of them. The numbers just don't add up to a Romeo Crennel defense. They've been so patient and so well coached all year, so disciplined. The bottom line, though, is that team did not show up last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know they're hungry to set the record straight against the Dolphins today.
The Browns are still waiting for the breakthrough game from their #1 draft choice wide receiver Braylon Edwards. Every time we see them, they're told that he's going to get the ball today. Is today the day?
Well, today has to be the day if the Cleveland Browns want to jumpstart their offense. It's been struggling all year. Number 17, Braylon Edwards, the 3rd pick in the draft back in April, that he's going to get the ball fed to him today. Trent Dilfer even told us he might even force a couple to him just to give this guy a chance to step up and make some plays and maybe ignite this offense because they've been stagnant for a pretty long time.
Injury update for the Browns. Left guard Joe Andrews, he's out with an injury. Mike Pasillo steps in. The Dolphins get a break with the weather today. It was in the teens here on Friday, but today on the shores of Lake Erie looks pretty good at kickoff time. Temperature in the 50s. So it's very good playing conditions, at least at the outset. There is a wind up to 15 miles an hour. Could be a factor as the game wears on. As now we take a look at the UPS reliable game points.
Well, for the Miami Dolphins, they've been in every ball game pretty much. In the last 2 weeks, they had a chance to win it at the end. They just couldn't close the deal. Today, they've got to do it. They're going to have a chance to close this one off. They've got to find a way to do it. For the Cleveland Browns, bring on Braylon. We talked about how important he's going to be, how the focus is going to be on trying to get he's ready for the prime time.
And for your reliable game picks delivered by UPS, log on to CBSSportsline.com. This is a great rivalry that goes way back. A lot of famous football personalities have taken part in this. First, a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
A cool November day in Northern Ohio as the Dolphins and the Browns are ready to play. Both these teams with standout runners, and the running game is the main part of the game plan for both today. Kickoff is next.
I love Thanksgiving. I love to eat. More importantly, I love beating up on fish. That's how we get down, baby.
Subway restaurants present Fresh Starts, a look at teams determined to taste victory this season. Subway, eat.
Which is phenomenal. He directionally punts to the near sideline. No return, a 43-yard punt. And the Browns take over for the first time with Trent Dilfer at quarterback. Dilfer, a 12-year veteran out of Fresno State. When he came out in '94, he was the first-round pick of the Tampa Bay Bucks. He's thrown for 9 touchdowns this season, has 10 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 76.3. Dilfer has a big arm, and he says he's going to get it to the rookie today, Braylon Edwards. But first, he gets it to the ace runner, Reuben Drones. Reuben Drones isn't done till he crosses the 40. No flags down inside the 40 of the Dolphins. Foot race on, and Reuben Drones isn't done yet. He's going to take it the distance. And the most spectacular play of this season for the Cleveland Browns. No markers down. The Browns take the lead. Wow. 75 yards. And this guy was in the Dolphins camp for 2 weeks, and they caught him.
They did. They always say paybacks are tough, man. What an unbelievable run. And Reuben Drones, you talk about it, he told Terrell Smith, his fullback, he doesn't feel like he can break away, run away from anybody. But look at the balance and the strength and his instinct, how to feel where his blockers are coming from. And right here, he says, you know what? I'm not going to run out of bounds. I'm going to try and stay in bounds, make somebody take me down. Goes back inside, gets another great block down the field. And it's a great start for the Cleveland Browns on offense.
About as great as they get. Woo. 75 yards. The extra point is hammered off the upright. You know, that happened to him earlier watching him warm up. He hit the upright a couple times. It's hard to do, Dawson. So it's a 6-0 game. Browns kick off and we come back. Jeff Fain, the standout center for the Browns, says Reuben Drones is a guy that everybody loves to block for. They blocked for him there, and he did the rest. We're going to watch it again. The 75-yard run from scrimmage for the opening score of the game. Here's the kickoff again to Wes Welker. And Welker takes it out across the 30 to about the 31-yard line. Let's watch this run again, Steve.
Well, when you talk about Reuben Drones, you talk about his strength and his balance and how you got to wrap up and take him down. Watch right here, some missed tackles early in the play. Right there, Reuben spins off, keeps those feet moving. Now he's in the open field. He knows he can't outrun people, but he stops, lets Antonio Bryant, number 81, come in and get a block. Steve Hyden, the tight end right there, number 82, gets a block. Reuben uses his blockers very, very well. That was a team touchdown, but great instincts by Reuben Drones to know where his blockers were coming from and how to set him up.
And you see the extra point, though, by Dawson caroming off the left upright, no good. Now in first down, Brown runs for the Dolphins and runs well. And Ronnie Brown's ahead for a gain of 10 yards and a first down. Tackled by McCutcheon, one of the cornerbacks. Last week, Browns fans will remember, they scored on the Steelers on an opening drive, but that was it. They couldn't do anything the rest of the way, or not much.
Well, that's exactly right. But now, you talked about that missed extra point by Phil Dawson. I don't know when the last time he missed an extra point was, but it's amazing how often something like that can come back and be a factor in the ball game. Because now, Cleveland's got to think about, do they go for 2 if they score another touchdown? It affects your thinking the rest of the game then.
You played in this league, Steve, at quarterback for 17 years. I'm sure you've seen a lot of missed extra points. And here is an interception as they hit Rosenfeld just as he's releasing the ball. And coming up to make the play is Matt Stewart. Andre Davis, 54, put the pressure on, but Matt Stewart out of DeSales High School in Columbus, Ohio, and Vanderbilt makes the play.
Sprint Business is reinventing the yes man, turning the yes man into someone who can work for.
UPS is sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you? Guinness Draft Stout. Drink responsibly. Brilliant. And by Hummer. Check out the new H3. Hummer, like nothing else.
This is Don Criqui with Steve Berline back at Cleveland Browns Stadium, where the Browns have started fast. A 75-yard run from scrimmage for a touchdown, and now an interception of Rosenfeld's, and Cleveland has the ball back. And a big defensive stick there. Coming up to make the play was the nose tackle Keith Traylor.
Well, look at Andre Davis. This is the last play. Andre Davis right here. Ronnie Brown, the rookie running back, has got him in protection. But what happens, he doesn't see Andre Davis blitz, and he doesn't blitz. He comes up to cover him, but then he says, wait, I'm going to rush. And Ronnie Brown runs right past him, and Andre Davis has a free shot at Sage Rosenfeld. That ball goes straight up in the air. Matt Stewart ends up making the nice interception, but you'll see the hit Andre Davis puts on Sage Rosenfeld. Yeah. Welcome to your second NFL game.
And now they go to Drones. That touchdown run was the longest of his career, 75 yards, and the 6th longest in Cleveland Brown history. And they've had some great runs with the runners they've had.
They sure have. And back to that one play, the last play by Andre Davis, you talked on about how he's playing at a Pro Bowl level this year. That was a purely instinctive play on his part, as we see about Reuben Drones on pace to become the first 1,000-yard rusher for the Cleveland Browns since Ernest Biner and Kevin Mack back 20 years ago. But a great instinctive play by Andre Davis on that play to feel that he could get to Sage Rosenfeld before he threw the football.
Well, they got him, and the ball was floating, and Stewart picked it up. His first career interception, and now they go to Drones again. And some very interesting play calling as they catch the normally surely positioned Dolphin defense going the wrong way. That's a gain of 12 yards on that play. Zach Thomas was on the stop.
And this is a great play by Reuben Drones. Good call by Maurice Carthon, the coordinator, but this is called a sprint draw where Trent Dilfer will come out to his left, sprint to Reuben Drones, and the play is designed to go back inside, but Reuben Drones says, wait a minute, they've all collapsed inside. I can walk for the first down on the outside, so he went on his own and made a good, smart play.
There's Mo Carthon, the offensive coordinator. Braylon Edwards is the top of your screen. Across from a rookie corner for Miami, Travis Daniels. They go back to the run. Drones spinning. His lead blocker is fullback Terrell Smith, who blocked for Ricky Williams at New Orleans. And Smith says that Drones, he's looking to hit somebody every time he carries the ball. He makes you pay when you hit him.
He sure does.
As we look at the B line.
And here's the deal with Cleveland. They've got the ball. Their offense has been very inconsistent. They all were talking this week. We need points every quarter. Consistency. For Miami, it's already been exposed, but drown out Reuben Drones. They've got to shut that guy down and force the Cleveland Browns to try and make plays in the passing game. They're off to a very bad start right now defensively, the Miami Dolphins are.
Browns do a nice job there, Steve, picking up the blitz. Zach Thomas was coming up the middle. They picked him up, and then the throw to Antonio Bryant is good for his 39th catch of the year for number 81, an 8-yard gain.
Well, it seems like right now in the early stages of this ball game, Maurice Carthon, the coordinator for the Browns, has got a good feel for what the Dolphins are trying to do. That was the perfect play call to pick up a blitz. It was a semi-rollout where you're turning the whole offensive line back, and you can pick up anything that tries to get through. And Zach Thomas got caught up in the mesh up in there. Trent Dilfer had a good, clean throw to the outside to Antonio Bryant.
And it brings up 3rd and a long one. Just over a yard. Here come the blitzers again. Dilfer stands in. Long ball, open receiver. And it's taken in by Antonio Bryant. He's going to be out of bounds, but inside the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal at about the 8.
Wow, I'll tell you what. Again, another beautiful play call and great execution by the Browns. They caught the Dolphins in a blitz. It's 3rd and short. A lot of teams like to play man-to-man. Zach Thomas had a chance to get through there, but didn't quite get to Trent Dilfer on time. A great throw on the outside to pick up 28 yards to Antonio Bryant. But the perfect play call. They were expecting man-to-man defense. They got it. And today, what we're seeing out of the Browns is execution at a very high level.
Yeah, Coach Cornell talked to us about we need consistency. He said if you can play one good quarter, why can't you play 4 good quarters? They go to Drones on the 1st and goal, and he doesn't get much. Zach Thomas, a tackling machine who has 108 tackles already this season and is leading all NFL linebackers in Pro Bowl fan voting. He makes the stop.
He told us he's got a lot of relatives in Texas that are stuffing the ballots for that Pro Bowl.
That's right.
But I'll tell you, he is a heck of a linebacker, and he saved the big play because they were coming with the blitz again on that last play, and Zach Thomas did a super job of getting a hold of Reuben Drones.
And Zach Thomas told us they feel that Dilfer is pickable, as he called it. That means they can intercept him, they believe. But not when Reuben Drones is running the ball. On a 2nd and goal, he doesn't get much.
Is pickable a word?
It is now.
It is now. In Zach Thomas's vocabulary, it is. But he did say that. He started talking about how Trent Dilfer every once in a while will try to squeeze the ball in there when he probably shouldn't. And you can see Zach get excited about just talking about it. He said he's pretty pickable every once in a while. So we'll see if that holds true.
Now the Dolphins go big. They send Keith Traylor back in, a goal line defense. Fain, the Browns offensive center, playing across from Traylor, says that Traylor is about a half a man bigger than me. They go back, they play fake, and here is Dilfer running away from the pursuit, throwing to the end zone and wisely throwing it away because the Dolphins coverage was perfect. Nobody open whatsoever, and now the field goal unit comes out. And it could be an adventure. Remember the extra point was.
It sure was. And again, one of the most common problems for the Cleveland Browns this year is their red zone execution. They're one of the worst in the league. They didn't have a great play call right there. The Dolphins were in the right defense, and Trent Dilfer really had nowhere to go with it. Made a good, smart play getting rid of the football. And now we'll see if Phil Dawson can make it a 9-point lead.
This is a 23-yard attempt. Dawson has hit on 15 of 16 field goals this season. Where he drives this one through, so the Browns capitalize on the turnover and get points and build their lead to 9-0. Downfield, Welker from 3 yards deep. He'll bring it out. 15. Ooh, stood up and thrown back. Big special teams play by Joshua Cribbs. Thursday on Survivor, can Gary Hogeboom pull off another quarterback sneak and stay in the game, or will his turkey get cooked on Thanksgiving night? Got your new episode of TV's #1 reality show, Survivor, Thursday on CBS, America's most watched network. You know Gary Hogeboom.
I've met Gary Hogeboom. I have not had a chance to talk with him, so I don't know what happens Thursday night. I'm going to tune in and find out, though.
Cooking his turkey. Here is a handoff up the middle to Ricky Williams, and Williams running hard on his first carry of the day, gets 11. Lee Bodden made the tackle. Hey, you talk to the Dolphins from head coach Nick Saban on down. They have high grades for Ricky Williams for his work ethic. He really missed football. Of course, he walked out on the Dolphins and now has come back contrite. And his teammates wanted him back. He asked Saban, do you think they want me back? And Saban said, well, I'll find out. Said to a man, they said, if he's ready to play hard, we want him back. Well, he's back. And now a pass to the near side to Chris Chambers, who had some big plays and some drops last week in the loss to the Patriots. Makes the play.
And you know, Don, you talk about Ricky Williams, you talk about how could anybody accept him back in the locker room? Myself, as a former player, I would have a hard time being comfortable with Ricky Williams being back in the locker room. But the difference is that these guys, the Dolphins, know him. And they knew his work ethic. They knew the way he laid it on the line for him when he was playing. And they realized he just was in a bad place for a while. And if he wanted to come back and commit himself, they would welcome him back without any doubt.
In a pretty good place right now running the ball, although he coughed it up. Was he down by contact? He definitely lost the ball, and the Browns grabbed it. But he apparently was down on that second down run that appears to be enough for a first down.
And when you talk about this guy, you know, he made a name for himself with his speed, his ability to be a power runner, but still get to the edge. His average per carry this year is down. It's under 4 yards, well up below his normal average. But when you look at him, you say, what is the difference? Well, he's a little bit lighter. He's just not getting the chances to make the plays this year yet.
Making a play there, though, is Welker on the near sideline. The Raiders and the Redskins are going at it in Washington, and here's Greg Gumbel with more.
All right, Don, thank you. And the Redskins draw first blood. Kerry Collins on the pass, gets hit as he throws. Lamar Marshall picks it off, takes it 17 yards for the touchdown. 7-0 Washington. First quarter, guys.
Thank you, Greg. The Raiders, one of your former teams, Mr. Al Davis, Los Angeles Raiders.
Can you pick which teams are not one of my former teams? That's a tough question.
And now the Oakland Raiders, but that's when you played for one of the Los Angeles Raiders. Ricky Williams runs the ball again well. Andre Davis takes him down.
And you know, Nick Saban told us he plans on playing both Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown. It's tough to kind of manage playing two running backs as you see Ricky Williams coming out, Ronnie Brown going back in. Sometimes he says having two running backs like that makes it a little bit difficult because neither one of them really gets in the flow of the game. And you can see right there, Ricky ripped off a couple of great runs. Now Ronnie Brown's back in there. It's a nice changeup, but sometimes it's a difficult situation.
Hey, this Dolphin game plan is right football 101. Slam it right at the Browns defense, which has been tough. But they're moving the ball, running it down. They have an inexperienced quarterback as we look at the comparison of Brown and Williams.
And you look at that, we talked about the 3.1-yard rushing average for Ricky Williams, not up to his standard. But look at Ronnie Brown, 4.8, almost 5 yards of rush. How do you keep this guy off the field? You've got to play him. He's shown he can handle everything. He made the mistake, I believe, on the last play, the interception that Sage Rosenfeld's threw. But they say he picks things up very quickly, and he can run the football, obviously.
Well, runs it well there. Ronnie Brown out of Auburn, the #2 pick in the whole draft. He came in the 4.8 per carry average, which is certainly a winning number, almost 700 yards. He's now well over 700 yards for the season rushing. There was a lot of talk in Miami, as you know, Steve, that they might go for Braylon Edwards, the receiver from Michigan. And of course, he went to the #3 spot. And he was picked by the Browns. There he is.
And I think Miami is very happy with the choice they made with what Ronnie Brown has done so far.
Now the Browns play run all the way. Ben Taylor and Chris Crocker combine on the stop. Ilford telling us yesterday, the quarterback for the Browns, that the best time to throw over the top is when you're running the ball well. We'll see if Rosenfeld subscribes to that.
That's very, very true. Any quarterback knows that you can't be successful in the passing game on a consistent basis if you're not running the football well. And this Cleveland Browns defense is doing what they've done pretty much all year. They're giving up yards in the middle of the field, but they've been pretty stingy, with the exception last week against Pittsburgh, but very stingy down in the red zone.
Yeah, the Browns have been good all season long in the red zone. 20-yard line in. Here is the handoff to Williams. Cornell said after watching a lot of tape about Williams, he really wonders if he can bounce to the outside as well as he could. In 2002, Dolphin fans remember he rushed for over 1,800 yards.
There's no doubt in anybody's mind this guy could get to the corner, but he could also run it up between the tackles. That's what made him so effective. But Romeo Cornell did say he doesn't seem to be getting to the edge like he used to. A good possibility for that is he's just not getting many opportunities at this point in the season.
Now in 3rd and 5, Rosenfeld will probably be throwing. Quick drop, takes a look, nothing there. Buys some time, puts it downfield, and it's taken in beautifully. What a play by Randy McMichael for a touchdown. This game's like a highlight reel.
It already is.
Flag is down, though. It's way downfield, though, inside the 5.
And it looks like it's going against Miami, according to the Browns' reactions.
Did McMichael push off?
Who knows what happened? It just took
Coming
away
back.
what was a tremendous play by Sage Rosenfeld.
Number 81 of the receiving team went out of bounds, came back in, touched the football. That's a 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And that is a no-no. A lot of people may not understand, but if a receiver does step out of bounds, either on his own or forced out of bounds, if he's knocked out of bounds legally, if his foot hits outside that line and he comes back in and is the first to touch the football, that's a penalty. And that's exactly what happened with Randy McMichael on that play.
So a sensational play is nullified. McMichael was out of bounds and came back in. Instead of a touchdown, a 5-yard penalty. That makes it 3rd and 10 for the Dolphins. Rosenfeld from the shotgun. Here come the rushers. He dumps it off, but to no avail. No gain. In fact, they lost yardage. Morris would have been better off dropping the ball rather than catching it.
And Andre Davis looked like he knew what was coming on that play. He was there right with the running back. But you're going to see Randy McMichael at the bottom of your screen, right down here. There he is. He steps out of bounds right along that line before actually the ball was even in the air. But it doesn't matter. It's a huge mistake and a huge consequence, because that was 7 points. That was what Sage Rosenfeld did. That's what the Dolphins needed to get their confidence back up. But it looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th and 14.
Go for it they are. They're keeping the offense out. So Nick Saban, he's kicking into the wind. If he tried the field goal here, the Dolphins would be. And so they're going to try to hit the 4th and 14 play.
Well, I think that this might be pushing it a little bit. If it was inside at 10 yards in that 6, 7, 8 yard range, they're going to let the clock run down. The clock did run down. Delay of game.
Delay of game, offense. 5-yard penalty.
Now the offense comes off. He's a happy guy. Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator of the Browns.
Well, I don't know exactly what's going on here. I don't know why they did that, because
probably more room to pooch punt.
That's what it looks like. They're going to pooch punt it if they move it back. I think they must know that Olindo Mari's range going that way, it was a stretch, and they want to try and play the field position game.
Donnie Jones now comes out, and he will be punting the ball. That would be a stretch for Mara. That's a swirling wind to be kicking into. Northcutt is back. You see him back at the Browns 10-yard line. Jones, who punted for Saban at LSU, angle punts and does a good job of it, getting it out of bounds at about the 11, a 28-yard punt, but as you see, no return.
CBS is sponsored by DLP Technology from Texas Instruments. It doesn't get any more real than this. And by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
We're back to Cleveland Browns Stadium. Don Criqui with Steve Berline. Browns with a 9-0 lead on a touchdown, missed extra point, and then a field goal. And now they have the ball at their 10-yard line to start this drive. Jones, who ran that same play, that same blocking for 75 yards and a touchdown early in the game, is stopped for a loss. Log on to NFL.com each week as our own Phil Simms, Boomer Esiason, and Shannon Sharp break down the NFL on and off the field as only they can. It's all on NFL.com or NFL on AOL. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12.
That's going to take us to the end of the quarter, it looks like.
Well, indeed, that's it for the first 15 minutes. Then the Browns win that first quarter handily. The 9-0 lead.
They got their points in the first quarter they were talking about.
So with the Browns in the lead and with the ball when we come back, we'll return to Cleveland Browns Stadium after this. We're back to start the second quarter at Cleveland. Browns with a 9-0 lead. 2nd down and 12 on their 8-yard line. Dilfer with a quick drop, timing throw, makes the connection, and there's Braylon Edwards. They're waiting for the coming out party, and that could be the start of it as he's out to the 32-yard line, a gain of 25 on the play.
And I'll tell you, I just was telling you during the break, Don, I think it's time to get Braylon Edwards involved in the ball game. You'll see him at the bottom of your screen, left side of your screen. Just a simple slant pattern, big physical guy. You get the ball to him on the move, and he can do some damage. I mean, look at him. He knows how to run with that football. Big guy, agile. You got to get this guy established early in the ball game, not only for his confidence, but also to scare the heck out of the defense. Once this guy starts making plays, he's going to cause a lot of defenses a lot of problems.
And Dilfer, Steve, making plays. He's 3 for 4 throwing the ball now for 61 yards. Here's Drones. And the Dolphins, after giving up that long touchdown run, the 75-yarder early to Drones, are now keen on him. And Jason Taylor, one of the best, number 99, who played at Akron, makes the stop.
And you'll see Jason Taylor right there on the left side. He is such an instinctive player. You know, there's a reason why he is always around the football, why he's picked up an NFL record, 5 fumbles and returned them for touchdowns. He knows how to get to the football. He's athletic enough to rush the passer, but strong enough to play the run as well. Very, very good player for a lot of years.
Since 2000, only Michael Strahan of the Giants has more sacks than Taylor. And now a cutback run, Northcutt, and the Dolphin defense really in position and not opening, allowing any gaps at all. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and long.
Yeah, I don't know about that play call. 2nd and 12 or 13 yards trying to run a reverse. The defense is not playing a run defense in that type of situation, so you're not going to get a real strong pursuit to the football. Dennis Northcutt did a good job just getting back to the line of scrimmage, making a couple yards on that play.
As we mentioned at the outset of the show, these teams played last December 26th in Florida, and the Dolphins won at 10-7 on a 51-yard field goal by Mari in the last minute. Here's Dilfer, got a big arm. Oh, Braylon Edwards with another spectacular play. Well, He told us he's going to get the ball to Braylon Edwards, and get the ball to Braylon Edwards. He is doing a 26-yard gain.
Well, you're going to see right here, that was an ugly pass, but the reason it was ugly was because number 91, Vonnie Holliday, came in and got his hand on Trent Dilfer's arm. There are maybe 3 receivers in the NFL that can make this catch, and that's because Braylon Edwards' wingspan, he's so tall, so lanky, but look, you'll see Vonnie Holliday come in and get his arm right on Trent Dilfer's hand as he came through. That ball came flying out of there. Very funny, but Braylon Edwards can find that football and make the catch. Tremendous play.
And the Browns are driving again off that tremendous play. Here comes a blitzer, and that forces Dilfer to dump the ball away. As coming hard was Channing Crowder, a rookie linebacker from Florida who's getting very high grades. They're talking about how smart he is. He picked up the whole defense right away. Very consistent as a rookie.
And I don't know exactly what happened on that play as far as what Trent Dilfer's read was, but Channing Crowder came off the backside, and Steve Hayden, number 82, the tight end, was running to the flat to the same side that Channing Crowder came from. He was completely uncovered. Could have caught that ball and run down the sideline probably 25, 30 yards before anybody even got near him.
Now they try a draw, and that is Zach Thomas, who last week Phil Simms of CBS called Zach Thomas, he believes, is the smartest player in the National Football League at any position. He's pretty smart.
Oh, he's incredibly smart. You'll see him right here in the middle. There he is. Watch him just shoot the gap. And he said he likes what they're doing on defense, what Nick Saban has brought to this defense. You're letting him blitz a little bit more, letting him really get up in the pocket and pressure both the run and the pass. It's a lot more exciting to him to have a chance to go up in there and make the big play instead of being just Mr. Consistent, making all the tackles within the scheme of the defense.
He likes this defense because he can blitz more often. Now they try a quick attempt at a screen pass, but it's shut down, and all of a sudden the Dolphin defense puts a screeching halt to the Browns offense after those 2 big catches by Edwards. Grinnell says, come on off, get our punt team on.
Well, Romeo Crennel, though, he is just happy now as a defensive coach. They're always aware of field position, and to have the ball backed up in their own end zone, now to get a chance to pin Miami back deep, he's happy with what that drive was able to accomplish.
Kyle Richardson, the ball was touched inside the 5 and downed at the 2-yard line. That's where the mark is, a 41-yard punt by Richardson, and as you see, no return. So there's the special teams play of the day so far.
To your family, happy Thanksgiving.
And happy Thanksgiving to you, Zach Thomas, and everyone else. As right now, Sage Rosenfels, Steve, is up against it.
This is really a dangerous situation. Backed up in the dog pound, into the sun. The team is struggling, but it's nice to have a running back like Ricky Williams in there to pound it up in there, get you out of the end zone.
McCutcheon and Davis on the stop. You see Sage Rosenfels, his history, a 4th-round pick of the Redskins in 2001. He's 27 years old. 1 previous NFL start. A loss to the Ravens. He'd thrown 1 pass this season coming into this game, and it was for a 77-yard touchdown to Chris Chambers against the Chiefs. Ricky Williams runs, and they get the ball out to the 15-yard line. This run game has been, for the most part, very good for Miami, but to go the long field on a 15 or 16 play drive is very hard to do against a defense like Cleveland's or any defense in this league.
It sure is. You've got to make plays in the passing game, and they've already established they can run the football. Now it's squarely on Sage Rosenfels to show that he can make plays in this passing game because he's getting the single coverage. He's got man-to-man right now. If they throw the ball, you got to make a throw and a catch.
A handoff, and Ricky Williams runs again. Ronnie Brown, the rookie, has started all 10 games, including today's. Williams and he alternate. Orpheus Roy and Nick Eason combined on the stop. There is Farrat, the damaged finger on his throwing hand. He banged the index finger on his right hand on a New England Patriot helmet. It swole up and came down, though. The finger looked pretty good when we met with him yesterday.
Well, it was in the 2nd quarter of the game, which made it that much more amazing. He hung in there and finished out the game, but those type of injuries the next day, he had to get it injected during the game to play in the 2nd half. The next day it was very swollen and very sore. but he is ready to go today if they need him in emergency situations.
Ricky Williams is ready to go, Steve. He comes out of like a shot out of a cannon straight up the middle. A 13-yard gain by Williams and another Dolphin first down.
And watch how this guy hits the hole. I mean, you talk about exploding out of a cannon. A great hole. Good job blocking up front.
That lead
and
block.
A super job by the fullback leading up on the linebacker inside. Brian Russell comes up and makes the hit. But that was Sammy Morris doing a super job clearing out the hole for Ricky Williams.
Williams putting up numbers, running the ball. 8 carries, 8 yards a carry. He has 64 yards. This is Brown going to the outside. Good defense by the Cleveland Browns. Ben Taylor, linebacker out of Virginia Tech. 58 runs him down. That'll bring up second down and 10. No gain.
Now you can say all you want. You look at Sage Rosenfels. He's going to have an opportunity to make a pass play here at some point.
This is the Dolphins, Steve, as you know, first game in Cleveland in 12 years. The last time they played here was '93. Dolphins got surprisingly good weather. It was really rough here on Friday, but it's turned into a beautiful day over on Sunday game day. And here is the throw in the flat. And with the reception is Lorenzo Diamond. Primarily a blocker, but Rosenfels checks down to his second tight end.
And that was a good, solid completion. But, you know, you don't get many chances to get a player open down the field. You're going to see Chris Chambers. Watch right there, number 84. Watch, they bust the coverage. He is running wide open down the field. You don't get that opportunity very often. And Sage Rosenfels is looking for a completion, but I guarantee you, he should have had a touchdown right there.
Well, let's see what he gets now on third down and 3. Inside throw to Chambers. It's going to be close. And now the mark is going to be at the 40. He's short.
And Lee Bodden did a great job of setting up that break on the ball. He made Sage Rosenfels think he was following his receiver inside, but he baited him into the throw and came up, made a nice tackle short of the first down.
4th and a yard. They're going to punt.
And that magnifies the mistake even more. You know, he's a young quarterback. You can't expect him to make all the right decisions. But when you get a chance to make a big play in the NFL, you just don't get many opportunities. You got to cash in. And Chris Chambers had a chance for about a 60-yard touchdown a couple plays ago.
But instead, the Dolphins end up punting. Left footing the ball is Donnie Jones as he hits it high downfield. Northcutt lets it hop into the end zone for a touchback. It comes out to the Browns 20 after a 60-yard punt, a net of 40. Browns have it when we come back. We're back. Trent Dilfer's been very effective today, throwing 5 of 7 for 89 yards. But guess what? He's on the sideline, and they put in Charlie Fry, the much heralded rookie from Akron, their 3rd-round draft choice. On a first down, he rolls it out. Throws the ball, and he's off target. Incomplete at an open tight end. Running a crossing route. Hayden couldn't get to the ball.
Well, you know, I don't agree with this. Let's get on the record saying that right now, because Trent Dilfer's playing well. But I think this was a premeditated move by the coaching staff to bring in Charlie Fry. And you can see all about him, tells you all about him. He owns 54 of Akron's passing records and total offense records. The numbers kind of speak for themselves, his college career. And he got this community excited in the offseason. He's a local boy, or in the preseason, I mean. Made some plays out there.
And now he hands off to Reuben Drones. Yeah, Fry has been a guy a lot of the Browns fans have been waiting to see. In the regular season, the #1 pick in the draft was a quarterback, Alex Smith, out of Utah, went to the 49ers. They put him in, he got eaten alive. And they quickly took him out. But Lance Schulters is down now, the safety for the Dolphins, number 30. So while Lance is attended to, there's a break in the action, a timeout.
Thousands of possibilities. Get yours. And by the voice-activated Acura TL, a higher form of performance.
We're back at Cleveland Brown Stadium. Unfortunately, the free safety of the Dolphins, Lance Schulters, was knocked out making a tackle, or trying to, and we've got physicians from both teams looking at him.
And you can see the concern. This is very scary as a former player. and you'll get a chance to see the hit here. You'll see there's Zach Thomas coming in, but you're going to see 30 Lance Schulters come in there, and he hits, and look at the whiplash of his head right there. He hits Zach Thomas, and it's a neck related type of thing, it looks like, and I don't want to hypothesize, but you just hope that they're just being very precautionary out there right now. You can tell how concerned his teammates are, and I know that feeling when one of your teammates is hurt in a way that may be a little more serious than a normal injury. It really affects the team as a whole, and you can really tell when there's genuine concern.
Well, it affects the opponent too. These guys are all brothers in the battle.
Critics hate.
We're very happy to inform you there's good news about Lance Schulters. He's up, came off the field under his own power. Obviously a little bit wobbly, taking that hard hit, but he's okay. He's on the bench, and we're ready to resume play now with a 3rd down and 7 coming up for Fry and the Browns. Here's a throw and a connection for a 1st down. A terrific connection by Steve Hayden.
And what a great thing to see Lance Schulters back up on his feet. He's getting the best medical care possible, so his family and friends should be rest assured he's in good hands. But a good 3rd down conversion by Charlie Fry right there. But I don't agree with this. I think it's going to be a temporary thing, and Trent Dilfer will probably be back in the game at some point. But all you're doing now is creating a situation amongst the team, amongst the community. You're giving them something else to talk about.
Hey, Charlie Fry looks like he's been there before.
Well, he looks comfortable out there right now, and I think there's no doubt about his potential. They're very excited about him, and this community does love him. He's one of their own. But what you're doing by putting this young player in this situation, you're now giving it a life of its own. Now, if you're throwing in the towel for the season, which I know Romeo Crennel is not doing, but there's a whole lot of ways you can take this. I just don't agree with it as the best move for the team at this point.
Now Drones on 2nd and short. Pulls ahead, takes on tacklers, as his lead blocker Terrell Smith says he can't wait to hit somebody. He is a knockout runner.
Now,
and he gets the 1st down.
Now let me clarify too, and as you see what Reuben Drones has done today, 1 rush, 75 yards, his last 11, 18 yards. But that 175-yarder was a big one. But
First play of the game.
First play of the game. Now, unless Romeo Crennel and this team really want Charlie Fry to end up to be the quarterback from this point on out for this season, then it's a decision you can kind of justify. But to go back and forth with quarterbacks is very difficult to do in the NFL.
He throws a slant pattern. This is Braylon Edwards, and he is down to the 40-yard line. Edwards, another rookie, the number 1 pick, and Fry combined in a lot of big plays in the preseason. That one was good for 15 yards. The Browns drive on behind Charlie Fry.
And we talked about how you wanted to get Braylon Edwards involved if you're a Cleveland Browns fan or coach or whoever. Look at that big, strong guy. I'll tell you what, that play right there makes a statement to safeties in the league. They saw the way he lowered his shoulder and ran right through the safety for the Miami Dolphins. They're going to know that when you're going to tackle this guy, if he's coming at you with a head of steam, you better go low.
1st down. He's a hard guy to get. He gets that pad level way down low, and this time putting on a juke move. He loses 1 tackler, and he's ahead on a 1st down carry for a gain of about 7 yards. Channing Crowder, the rookie from Florida, gets him down, but the Browns continue to drive the ball.
I like the mix that we're doing. We're still seeing, I think Maurice Carthon and the offensive coaching staff have had a really good feel for the Dolphins most of the day today, and they're doing a good job mixing it up, using Charlie Fry. He's a more athletic quarterback than Trent Dilfer. They've both been getting out on the edge a little bit, but Charlie Fry, one of his strengths is his ability to run with the football and move the pocket. They're using that to his advantage today as well so far.
Also a strength running with the ball is Reuben Drones. That's his 14th carry. He is now over 100 yards for the day. Scored 75 coming in that opening touchdown run. Jeremiah Bell gets him down to the timeout on the field, and Bell is down. Fades Tuesday night with a new episode that will have you on the edge of your seat. Don't miss the critically acclaimed Threshold on a special night and time, Tuesday at 10/9 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. 2 minutes to play in the 1st half. Browns holding to a 9-0 lead, and their first play from scrimmage Their runner Reuben Drones went 75 yards for a touchdown. That was the big play. Now with the rookie Charlie Fry coming in for Dilford, quarterback, even though Dilford played very well and is not hurt, the Browns are driving again. This is third and less than a yard. Fry lets it go downfield to Edwards, and interception is dropped. A room service interception right in the lap of the defender. As Fry almost went down, and he's a little out of sorts there. There's a uniform coming apart, and he was lucky to escape an interception by Madison, who already has 4 this year, Sam Madison.
Well, and this is what I'm talking about here, too. Now, everybody throws a ball like that every once in a while, but if you're going to put Charlie Fry in the game at this point, you're basically saying we're going to let him learn under fire. And he's going to make mistakes because all rookie quarterbacks do. But you just don't want to make sure you give away the game or give away points just trying to get him a good series.
Let's see if they can make this good. A 4th down play, and they do. It is Reuben Drones diving ahead for a first down. Fry actually tripped on the previous play over his left guard, Mike Pasillo, who is starting today for the injured Joe Andruzzi.
And a good, solid, physical running play by Reuben Drones. That's the only kind of running play he knows, by the way. But very gutsy call and a good call by the Cleveland Browns to go for it in that situation. They want 7. They don't want to settle for field goals. They want to get 7 points.
Romeo Cornell was telling us, Steve, he wants points in every quarter. That's the best way to win a game. He said, get something up on the board every quarter if you can. Now from the shotgun goes Charlie Fry, the 3rd round draft choice. Long ball. Too much on it. And it'll be 2nd down and 10. He was shooting the ball at Antonio Bryant. The Browns are leading receiver with 38 catches coming into the game.
And Zach Thomas is hurt. And it doesn't look good. He came out holding his arm, pointing to his arm. I don't know. It looks like it might be a shoulder or something, but he is in a lot of pain right now.
Well, it takes a lot of pain to get this guy out of the game. There is the great Dolphin linebacker Zach Thomas with an apparent injury to his right arm or wrist, in a lot of pain. He's being taken off on a cart now, injured on the previous play. So Zach will be looked at. He's out. And Reuben Drones has the ball again, turns the corner, and a good move on him, as running him down was Madison.
When you look at this injury, Don, you don't see a whole heck of a lot. I mean, he just kind of runs into Charlie Fry, but right away he looks at that. He's looking at his wrist. You can't really tell whether it's a shoulder, wrist. I don't know, but I'll tell you what, this guy is one of the very toughest players in the NFL, and he's in agony right now. He is really in pain.
On a 3rd and 10 play, Fry throws over the middle and makes a connection with Northcutt, well short of a first down. Travis Daniels, the rookie, makes the stop on the play, so the ball is now positioned at the 23-yard line of the Dolphins in field goal range, although it's a little dicey kicking into this end into the swirling winds, as unfortunately Zach Thomas has to leave the field and in a lot of distress.
Yeah, you don't. Zach Thomas does not leave the field. That is honestly the truth. That guy, if there's any way he can go, he does not leave the field. And I'll tell you, you know, you just hope that that it's not that bad.
It's one of the physicians, orthopedic surgeon, holding his arm. So they'll take him in and x-ray it, and we'll be back to Cleveland in a moment. We're back, and a 40-yard field goal attempt by Phil Dawson is coming up. He hit from 23 earlier. Delivers this one into a swirling wind and does it right on time as the Browns continue to build their lead. And they go up now by a score of 12-0. That's the half. Now word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Cleveland 12 and Miami nothing. The NFL on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, America's most watched network. Welcome back to Cleveland. We're at the half. The Browns lead the Dolphins 12-0. Don Criqui with Steve Berline. Latest report on Zach Thomas, middle backer for the Dolphins. Injury to his right shoulder. The severity being determined now. But today, that opening run, Steve, by drones really ignited the Browns to what might be their best performance of the season so far.
Well, they played very consistently in the first half. They protected the football. That big explosive run by Reuben Drones really does a lot to take the pressure out of you going into a football game. A 75-yard run always helps. But their defense has done a good job against Sage Rosenfels, making only his second start. They've not let that Dolphins offense get going at all.
The last time a guy ran on the opening play of a game for a touchdown, believe it or not, it was Drones doing it last year for Denver at New Orleans. Right now we look at the fantasy notebook as Mr. Steve Berline extrapolates the numbers.
Let's look at this. Sage Rosenfeld, 5 of 7, 5 completions, but only 14 yards. So you can see they're not making any plays in the passing game. Ricky Williams running the ball very well. Ronnie Brown, same thing. Reuben Drones, over 100 yards in the first half. Very solid first half. 75 of them on one play, of course. Receiving the ball, look at this. Braylon Edwards, 3 catches, 65 yards. That was definitely a priority for the Browns to get him involved in the passing game, and they have done that. So we'll see where the second half takes us, Don.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The Dolphins had run offense, but no pass offense. As mentioned, just 14 yards. Joshua Cribbs runs back the kickoff, a short one, and he's out to the 31. So the Browns, as a penalty marker comes in late now, and their Dolphins are pointing at the Browns. We'll see if that means anything as referee Bernie Kukar gets all the information and makes his pronouncement. Here's Bernie now, who says,
holding 94 of the receiving team during the run back. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
Orlando Ruff called for holding, and now Dilfer comes back in.
And that's kind of just what I suspected. And you know, this is the kind of thing that I understand. You want to get Charlie Fry some experience. You want to try and plug him into a game. Your team's 3-6, all that stuff. But what you're doing now is going to be a question that Romeo Crennel and his staff, Trent Dilfer, Charlie Fry, the whole team, they're going to be asked this question for the rest of the year. So
it's out there now.
You made your bed. Now you got to deal with it.
Well, Dilfer was very effective in the first half, and now the best play in the book for the Browns this day is handing the ball to 34 Reuben Drones, who drives it ahead on a first down carry for a gain of about 9 yards.
And the thing that Dolphins are gonna find out is that Reuben Drones gets stronger as the game goes along. But let's talk Charlie Fry here. There he is, you know, the local boy. There's been a lot of buzz about him around here. 4-7, 37 yards. You know, good, solid for. He had the one throw that should have been intercepted. They got a field goal out of that drive. But Trent Dilfer was playing well, as you stated, Don, and really there was no reason to take him out unless it was something they had premeditated.
Dilfer's 5 of 7 throwing the ball for the day, 89 yards. And here is a tip ball. And it's good to see that Lance Childers, who was shaken up badly, knocked out cold in the first half, is back on the field.
That is absolutely amazing to me.
It is.
That this guy can still be in the game.
These guys, as they say, that all-day tough line.
Oh, geez, that's taken it to a new level. And you know, we went from thinking it was something extremely serious to all of a sudden he's back in the second half. But what that tells me is that he's been examined thoroughly. The doctors and the trainers and everybody feel that it was just a one-time thing, that he has no chance of getting hurt or further hurting himself by playing.
Now on second down and 10. It is Reuben Drones on the run again. Reuben Drones, it could be headed for a career day. That was good for 13 yards and a first down. Drones has now run the ball 18 times today for 128 yards.
Watch the right side of this offensive line, just blowing straight ahead. Reuben Drones, there's nothing fancy here. Just run the ball, power up in there. Good job by Terrell Smith blocking on the outside linebacker. But Reuben Drones, relatively untouched into that secondary. And I'll tell you what, you let this guy get ahead of steam, those safeties are going to get awful tired of sticking their nose in there. Trust me.
I'll tell you, this Jeff Fain at center, he's cleaning people out. A lot of it's going over him.
Yeah, most of their big runs today have been off that right side. Jeff Fain, Cozy Coleman, Ryan Tucker getting some good push. And then, of course, Terrell Smith, the ultimate cement head, as I like to say. This guy's a traditional classic fullback. I was looking forward to getting some good ISOs on Terrell Smith with Zach Thomas. And, you know, fortunately or unfortunately, Zach Thomas has been hurt, and we won't see that. But we just hope for the best with his injury.
And now with second down coming up, needing 8. Ilfer sets his team and goes with a long count as the blitzer starts to come up. Blitzer coming, they go to a draw, and that offsets the blitz and gets plus yards for the Browns out close to the 48-yard line. Reuben Drones again.
And what has Reuben Drones done today? Well, let's start with the first play of the game. Took it for a touchdown, 75-yard touchdown run. Does a great job setting up his blocks like we pointed out, but then all day long when he's had the opportunity to get up into the line of scrimmage, he gets those shoulders squared up. He's going to cause some damage. It's going to take 2 or 3 guys to get this guy to the ground if you get him rolling, if you let him get rolling. Look at that, 19 carries, 130 yards and a touchdown. We've still got a half a football to play.
He is a 6th round, actually he was drafted in the 3rd round by Detroit, 6th year out of Oregon. Lions cut him. Dolphins actually cut him, as we mentioned earlier. He was there on a practice squad, and now there's going to be an interference call on Antonio Bryant on the Dolphin defense, and that'll be a first down for Cleveland.
Yeah, it looks like Lance Schulters was a little bit too aggressive getting in there trying to break that play up.
Pass interference, 29 defense.
Sam Madison.
First down.
One of the best corners in the game.
He is one of the best and has been for many years. But look at it, there is some serious holding going on. He never broke his contact.
That's almost an indictable offense. He was holding him.
It almost was. That's right. And and he is a physical corner, and he's had to adjust to this new rule in the NFL about the illegal contact, and a lot of these physical defensive backs have been affected by it.
Now Drones runs again. The Browns bleeding the clock, keeping the ball, and the Dolphins with virtually no pass offense in this game. 14 yards in the first half as they start their backup quarterbacks Rosenfels. There's Mo Carthon, who is a tremendous runner in the NFL. Now the offensive coordinator for the Browns really mixing the play call with some interesting throws earlier, but this straight ahead zone blocking, some trap blocking, and just pounding the ball at the Dolphins defense has been the ace play today for the Cleveland Browns. Swing passes, slap back.
And this is exactly the way the Cleveland Browns would like the football game to go. The right feel, the right tone. They're running the ball well. They're not being forced to make plays in the passing game. But Trent Dilfer got away with one right here. You'll see he's trying to throw the swing pass to Reuben Drones up there, but it was man-to-man defense. And what that means is that there was a linebacker, probably Junior Seau, that was running right to Reuben Drones, and he probably would have been there as soon as the ball got there. So that's one of those where Reuben Drones will look at Trent and say, you know what, I really don't mind if you didn't give me a catchable ball on that one, because I would have taken a shot.
And Steve, as Romeo Cornell told us, he was emphasizing this week energy and consistency, and the Browns have delivered both so far. Here's the throw and a catch on a 3rd down, and somehow Braylon Edwards gets away from the tackler, then he's thrown back. Dolphins are playing with an attitude. They talk about the Dolphin defense being very physical. I mean, they really got to Tom Brady last week. They sacked him twice. They intercepted him twice, and they hit him play after play, but of course he pulled the game out in the end.
And you can see what it is that excites so many people about this Braylon Edwards. Look at that. I mean, these guys just bounce off of him. Now, granted, he didn't make the first down, but you can sense when this guy gets the football that a lot of times good things are going to happen, because he is a big, strong, aggressive receiver.
Now the punt knocked downfield, and another standout special teams play as they down it again inside the 5. A 38-yard punt and no return, and that has to be a very happy. Well, now there's a penalty marker down. And we'll find out what that's all about with 10:31 to play in the 3rd quarter. Jerry Rosberg, the special teams coach for the Cleveland Browns, he had his guys ready. I mean, they're on all over these punts, downing them. There's Rosberg. Boy, he was talking to him Friday. He was raving about Wes Welker of the Dolphins. He said he is just a great football player, every way you can measure it.
On the receiving team will be a 5-yard penalty. That's going to result in first down.
Oh, a first down for the Browns.
Wow.
Wow, you know, those are the things that will drive a coach crazy. And look, Nick Saban is saying, how can that happen? 12 men on the field. Of all the things You know, if you make a mistake being aggressive, being physical, being a football player, that's one thing. But to make a mental mistake, a guy out there in the field that isn't supposed to be out there, that'll make a coach lose a lot of hair quick.
Well, he told us he was very positive in his message to the team after the loss to the Patriots last Sunday. So we played well. We just weren't consistent enough to carry it through, and he kept emphasizing we've got to find a way to have the confidence to make the breakthrough plays that win games. Dilfer in the flat and out of bounds.
And again, that was the same type of throw. But let's look at let's see if we can count all these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And of course, there had to be a returner back there in the back. That's 12 guys. I don't know many plays that are 12 men are allowed on the field. Do you, Don?
In Canada, every down, but not here.
That's right. We are south of the border, aren't we?
You can play with 10 or 9 if you'd like. They don't penalize you for playing too few.
Yeah, you go to the other side of the lake, you can play with 12, right?
That's it. Here is the handoff to Drones again, and he is inside the 35-yard line on a 2nd down and 10 run. Got a little bit, Keith Traylor, but the Dolphins have been out without the big play. It looked like they had one for a touchdown, the throw downfield to McMichael. But then came the penalty marker and the ruling that he had stepped out of bounds and come back in.
Right. There has not been a tremendous amount of penalties, but the few penalties that have been called on the Dolphins have been huge. That last one on the punt, given Cleveland a new set of downs inside their own 40-yard line. And then, of course, this touchdown that was called back. Those are the kind of things that drive you crazy. Now, Cleveland is getting a lot of man-to-man coverage. And this would seem to be a great opportunity to get the ball to Braylon Edwards on the outside. They've been getting a lot of it.
Dolphins need a turnover, long ball and a little bit too much on it, and now another marker thrown in. Antonio Bryant, a former Biletnikoff winner at the University of Pittsburgh, running a fly pattern. Travis Daniels, the rookie from LSU, was running with him. He had a 49-yard penalty call against him, did Travis Daniels, last Sunday against the Patriots. Led to a New England field goal.
And I'll tell you,
illegal use of hands, number 60 of the offense. We got pass interference, 21 of the defense. Those penalties offset. 3rd down.
So they got Cozy Coleman on the offense, the right guard, and then they got Travis Daniels. I'll tell you what, though, it is really hard for a rookie defensive back to figure this thing out, and it takes a while. These guys come out of a very liberal system in college football where they're allowed to pretty much have contact all the way all around the field in college. And then in the NFL, you come in, they want points on the board. They want quarterbacks and receivers to hook up. They're not allowed to make any contact after that 5-yard period or 5-yard area. And a lot of times these rookies really struggle with that.
That's a lot of getting used to. He was a 4th-round draft choice by the Dolphins, was Travis Daniels, who played for Saban at LSU. Here's a hard throw over the win on a tremendous catch. And yet another marker thrown in by the back judge from 25 yards off the play.
Now they might call this one on Steve Hayden, the tight end. They might call him for a push-off to create that separation that he got to give Trent Dilfer a spot to throw that ball.
Pass interference, number 82 offense.
You got it.
A 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So was that maybe a makeup call? I would never imply that, of course, but I mean,
what are you doing
you
then?
can call something like that on every play pretty much if you want to. And you'll see Steve Hayden watches. You'll see him on the left-hand side, number 82. Watch his right shoulder. He leans in there and little push-off just to give him a little separation. You know, they could probably call that every time on a tight end, just like they could call holding on a linebacker or a safety on a tight end almost every play. You know, you just hope they don't decide to call it on a big play for your team.
Well, Nick Saban emphasized this. He kept saying, we'll make the breakthrough. We'll make the breakthrough. So we have to have those primetime guys who have confidence and step up and make plays. The Dolphin defense needs to get a turnover. But Ruben Jones is not about to cough it up as he just keeps pounding ahead inside the 40. Saban and the Dolphins did have an early upset when the weather turned up so good. It could have been really a rough day if it held on like it was Friday.
Right. We were really expecting it to be a lot more of an issue, the weather, but today, beautiful football day and a beautiful game for Romeo Crennel right now. This game is going just the way he wants to, even though they're punting right here. Field position. He doesn't think anybody can drive the ball 80-plus yards on his defense on a regular basis.
It's been very hard to do against the Browns, and here is another attempt at downing the ball inside, but there's a little bit too much on Richardson's punt, so it goes in for a touchback. And the Dolphins, badly in need of a big play, have it when we come back. We're back to Cleveland Browns Stadium, 8:31 to play in the third quarter. As you see the first half possessions, Rosenfels, after missing his first 2 throws, has hit his last 5, but for only 14 yards. That was in the first half. Now he tries to go in the second half, and they go to the run. And the Cleveland Browns are all over that. Ronnie Brown, the rookie runner.
And that 5 completions that Rosenfels has had consecutively for 14 yards isn't going to get it done. I expect that they'll let Sage Rosenfels, or they'll encourage him and give him the opportunity to be more aggressive this half. They've got to make something happen. And if he doesn't get this offense going in the next drive or 2, the Dolphins cannot afford to lose this football game. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gus Frerotte didn't find his way back into this game unless Sage Rosenfels starts making some plays.
He's going to try to make one now after a play fake, a throw over the middle, and he's not on target. It's almost a pickoff there. Lee Bodden made a move on the ball. They were looking at Marty Booker. The Dolphins had a great game plan against the Patriots last week. They really moved the ball against them, particularly with a no-huddle offense.
They did, but you're not going to see that out of a young quarterback like Sage Rosenfels. They're going to keep it more close to the vest, but when they get opportunities to make plays, they got to make them, and that was good coverage by Lee Bodden. Not a whole lot to do, but Sage Rosenfels has to find a way to move around, make something happen to get this team back into it.
He's got to make about 6 yards worth happen here on third down. Markers down. There might have been a false start. There was.
And that is not.
False start. 86 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That's not a little thing. That's a big thing. You go from 3rd and 6, where the defense has to play it honestly. They got to respect the run possibility or the pass. Now it's 3rd and 11. They're not worried about the run. They called it on 86 right there at the bottom. It was very obvious. There was a little flinch. Marty Booker did it. That's all it takes to get that yellow flag going up in the air.
But it gives you a 3rd and 11 now. Blitzers align. They're coming. Rosenfels gets some time and runs out of it and has to throw the ball too high. Kennard Lang, a former Miami Hurricane who lost 30 pounds in the offseason and moved outside linebacker, 96, put the pressure on for the Browns.
And that was a good job creating pressure. That, the Dolphins had what they wanted. They had man-to-man across the board, but in Sage Rosenfels' defense, there really wasn't anybody open, and he was getting pressure from Kennard Lang. These guys got to give him a spot to throw the ball when they get that man-to-man coverage. They got to win.
Northcutt with the punt return. Finds a gap. Northcutt works the sidelines, and Jones, the punter, forces him out of bounds, but it's an excellent return and gives the Browns terrific field position to start this drive.
And it's, when you're the Cleveland Browns and the way that Romeo Crennel is going to play this thing, field position. You didn't give the first down up to the Dolphins. They punt from deep in their own territory. Now you're getting the ball back at the 50 at the worst, but a returner like Dennis Northcutt, one of the best in the league, finds a way to almost bring this back all the way to the house.
45-yard punt, but Northcutt ran it back 37 yards. And the ball is spotted to the 28-yard line.
Yeah, you got pretty good odds of getting some points on the board if you start inside the 30-yard line of your opponent. I like those odds.
Reuben Drones has run for 142 yards so far in this game on 23 carries. Here's Dilfer. He's on the run. Does not like to be, as most veteran quarterbacks do not. You've been there.
Hey, but I was a thoroughbred out there. You know that.
You were that. Visit CBS Sportsline tonight for a web-exclusive post-game show. Analysis from our team of NFL experts and a complete wrap-up of all the day's action only on CBSSportsline.com. We spent 17 years out there, so you've seen it all.
I had at least 3 touchdowns in 17 years. At least.
Running.
The longest being a 5-yard touchdown.
Lou Holtz tells at Notre Dame, don't ever run. Here's the handoff to Reuben Drones and down to the 15-yard line, but you passed it well. Lance Schulters makes the stop, but it's an 11-yard gain.
Well, the Browns have been running up the middle between the tackles pretty solid all day, but when you lose the heart of your defense, Zach Thomas, look how easy it is to get Reuben Drones up in there. And give Lance Schulter's credit, number 30, the safety, coming up there trying to make a tackle. But you don't want your safeties having to make the play on number 34, Reuben Drones, coming through that pipe untouched with a full head of steam. Someone's going to get hurt, or you're going to give them a big play.
That's a tremendous loss, a shoulder injury to Zach Thomas. He's not played in the second half. And an open receiver, Antonio Bryant, had the cornerback beaten on a out route, and the ball comes in high.
And that's where the frustration comes in for Trent Dilfer and for the fans here in the stadium. They see a play like that where Trent Dilfer really, he had exactly what he wanted. He had wide open receivers against man-to-man coverage on both sides of the field. Look at how open Antonio Bryant was. On the other side of the field, Steve Hayden running a corner route was every bit as open as Antonio Bryant, and he overthrows it, throws it out of bounds.
Same formation. They're going to try it again. Throw up the middle. Oh, wow, fish hooks for fingers. What a catch by Hayden.
I like that one. Fish hooks for fingers.
From South Dakota State. I mean, he remember the great catch he had a little bit ago, but it was called back on the offensive line foul. And now Jason Taylor's down.
Boy, the Dolphins have been really hurt by injuries today to key players.
So while one of the best defensive players in the NFL is looked at, there's a timeout on the field. Don Criqui with Steve Berline back at Cleveland Brown Stadium. Jason Taylor shaken up. It looks like he's going to be ready to come back in after they have to go out for at least one play. When play is stopped to look at an injury.
Yeah, he's a warrior. He'll be back out there.
Since 2000, he has 69 sacks. Only Michael Strahan has more. The Giant defensive end has 73 over that period. Taylor has 5 sacks this year. Here is Dilfer. Pursuits on. Throws, and it is taken in for a touchdown. Terrell Smith, who rarely gets the ball in his hands. He told us on Friday when we met with him, my job is to knock people down for the runners. Well, that time he made a one-handed grab for a touchdown, and he might have put the knockout punch down with that catch.
If Steve Hayden has fish hooks for hands, what is that? What do you call that? Is that the Lester Hayes stick 'em? I mean, look at this catch. Unbelievable.
You might want to think about throwing to him again in the future.
Wow. I mean, Trent Dilfer, I think more than anything, we're just trying to give him a chance. But look at that. Wham. Pull it in and control it. Get inside the pylon. Great catch by the big man. You don't think he's going to be happy tonight, do you? He didn't get many opportunities to score a touchdown.
He's one of the best blockers, though. For 4 straight years at New Orleans, he led the way for 1,000-yard runners between Ricky Williams and Deuce McAllister. Now he gets a share of the glory in this game ball. Terrell Smith as the Browns march on. 19-0.
So what'd they say?
Same. 3 hours.
We'll still.
Blocking back Terrell Smith, of all people, is in the end zone, and he did it in style with a one-hand touchdown grab. All set up was this drive on the 37-yard punt return by Dennis Northcutt. Now Phil Dawson kicks off. Welker downs the ball. And a marker's down. Might have been somebody offside on the kick team.
Yeah, it's going to be offsides.
Here's Bernie Kukar getting the information, but there's a penalty marker down at the line where the ball was kicked off. Both these teams coming into the game with 3-6 records. Both were 4-12 last year and made coaching changes. And last year they had a very close game in Florida that the Dolphins won on the Murray field goal in the last minute, 10-7.
Offside of the kicking team, 25. It's a 5-yard penalty and a re-kick.
And now that offsides penalty is a new rule this year. Where it used to be always an automatic re-kick, but now what they're doing is they're giving the receiving team the option of taking their return plus 5 yards, or having the kick re-kicked again from 5 yards back. And since there was no return, of course the Miami Dolphins want to have the re-kick and see if they can get it out there a little further.
Well, Welker's one of the best.
And I'll tell you, Trent Dilfer and Charlie Fry, Charlie Fry giving him a pat on the back, way to go. And you hear how this guy carries himself, Trent Dilfer, how he carries himself with class everywhere he's been. You never hear a negative thing about him. And I've heard from many sources that he has done nothing but help Charlie Fry since the day they met. And that's the kind of guy he is. And it says a lot about him.
Yeah, actually, I heard that from Doug Deegan at halftime, one of the broadcasters for the Browns on radio with Jim Donovan, saying that you can't believe how Dilfer's just gone out of his way to help Fry really learn his way in as a rookie quarterback. And now the run back is out to the 39-yard line. So the Browns do give up good field position, having to re-kick. And the Dolphins are ready to go. Back to Cleveland. The Browns on defense. The Dolphins' biggest problem on offense, just 14 yards pass offense.
Hard to win. 14 yards in the air.
Rosenfels throws over the middle, and he's intercepted. Threw it right. Looked like was that Crocker that got the ball. Chris Crocker, 25, a third-year player out of Marshall. So a bad day for Rosenfels, and the Dolphins gets a lot worse. Browns are ready to roll again on offense. Sage Rosenfels, who was called on to start today because of the injury to Gus Frerotte. He's on the bench after throwing the interception. The Dolphin defense is out there now, but it'll be Frerotte going in when the Dolphins get the ball back on offense. He's warming up. Dilfer makes a connection downfield to Antonio Bryant. And he has a first down to the 27-yard line, a 16-yard gain on the play.
And this is a nightmare for a nightmare day for Sage Rosenfels. Look at Chris Crocker right there, the safety. You'll see Sage Rosenfels. He's staring to his right the whole time. Basically hands it to Chris Crocker. Read it the whole way. Exactly the worst case scenario that Sage Rosenfels could ever expect to have. You can see the disappointment, the frustration right now. 2 interceptions, 5 of 10 on the day, 14 yards. This is not the idea, or not what he had in mind. Or they really felt confident with him coming into this game. It just has not been a good day for him.
And this is Jason Wright, a free agent from Northwestern University, running the ball. Ball's advanced to about the 22-yard line. The tackle on the play by Junior Seau. 8 weeks into the TV season, only one team stands undefeated. CBS has more viewers than any other network every single week. For the best dramas, the top comedies, and the #1 show on television, see for yourself why CBS is the undisputed winner. CBS, America's most watched network.
It's good to be the king, right, Don?
Yeah, CBS has been the king, and right now the throw and connection over the middle, and Bryant holds on.
What a catch. That is a big-time tough play by Antonio Bryant right there. He'll feel that one tomorrow, but I'll tell you what, listen to this hit. Absolutely crushing from Lance Schulters. Pop right back up. That's a good, tough play by Antonio Bryant. He got a lot of respect in the locker room right there making that play.
Well, that's part of his case history. He is a guy that will go into the teeth of the defense and catch the ball no matter what's coming after he gets it. Another good throw as the ball is tightly spiraled into the hands of Steve Hayden inside the 10-yard line. A first down throw. It's a gain of about 5 yards on the play. The tackle by Derek Pope.
And the frustration mounting for Nick Saban. You know, he really feels like he's got a good football team, and this loss today, or not a loss yet, but I mean the performance today at this point is not what he had in mind. They really expected to come out and play well today. This hasn't been the case either side of the ball.
The Dolphins completely, I think, outplayed the New England Patriots last week.
They did.
In fact, after the game, Tom Brady said, "We stole one." But today, without any pass offense, with a backup quarterback, and the Browns really getting some great run offense, great run blocking. They have just absolutely played their best game of the Romeo Crennel era.
They really have. It's been a complete effort, no mistakes, very, very disciplined. And you look where Miami is. If they can somehow find a way to get back into this ball game, they can still realistically consider themselves in the hunt. But boy, it's looking kind of bleak right now.
Dolphins, I don't recall, Steve, even being close to points.
No. Well, they were on the one touchdown that was called back. But
yeah, but it's a no play. Right. Here's a throw in the middle, and it's incomplete.
And that was one of those balls that Zach Thomas described to us earlier as maybe a pickable ball. I mean, that was some pretty tight coverage that Trent Dilfer was trying to stick it in there. And granted, you got to do that sometimes in the NFL. You've got to take a shot once in a while and try and make the great throw. Just got to pick the right times to do it.
Romeo Crennel, a bear of a man, he said he can handle the pressure. He said, I'm not a Tums guy, not a Rolaids guy. 24-yard field goal attempt by Dawson. He missed an extra point after that opening touchdown run by Drones, but he's been kicking field goals, methodically knocking them right down the middle, and it's a 22-0 game. So Crennel, who said to his team, if you can play one quarter, you can play 4 good quarters, and they're doing it.
Oh, who do you pick out of that deal? I mean,
I don't pick anybody.
Gee, many Christmas. Who
Rams,
deserves it?
maybe the Rams.
Maybe the Rams. Maybe Philadelphia will get hot. Who knows? But without Donovan McNabb for who knows how long.
Well, you can cast your vote at NFL.com. The Dolphins, believe it or not, have a total of 9 yards pass offense today. Last week they had an unbelievable offensive day against the Patriot defense. Last weekend the Dolphins had 437 yards offense. That was the most in 6 years for a Dolphin team. Farad threw for 360 yards, and now he's coming in ailing finger at all. The index finger on his throwing hand, his right hand, he banged it into a Patriot helmet. It's very swollen, treated all week. He warmed up before the game. And you've had similar injuries, Steve. It's tough to grip the ball, I guess.
It's a tough one, and he actually had some kind of a hairline fracture in that finger, which, you know, if you've ever been a thrower, you know what an impact or how tough it is to come back and play so soon after the injury.
It's been a frustrating day for Sage Rosenfels, getting the call, just his second career start.
Not a whole lot of good stuff going on here. It started early and it happened often. He had very few chances to make a lot of plays. They didn't have the ball very much, but whenever he did have a chance, it seemed like he made a bad play, and just a tough day all around for him.
And Farad, not seeing anyone open, hesitates, and he's sacked by Alvin McKinley, who gets his 3rd sack of the year, number 97 for the Browns.
Now it's a tough spot for Gus Farad to come into now, but now knowing his nature and his background, he is a gunslinger. He has got a great arm. He's been around a long time. He's been in these situations, so he's dangerous to a defense. But not having thrown a football at all this week and not taking any reps, it's very difficult to come in and really get the feel of what's going on out there.
You and Farad exchanging Napoleon Dynamite stories yesterday.
Yeah.
Here's a 3rd and 10.
Delay a game, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Tonight on CBS, see why critics call Cold Case TV's best cop show. Catch a new episode of Sunday's top crime drama, Cold Case, tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. It's hard to believe, a week ago, 360 passing yards against the Patriots. But that was Farad at quarterback. The offensive coordinator for the Dolphins is Scott Linehan. Quarterback coach Jason Garrett. They can game plan, but X's and O's have to translate to the field, and then Rosenfels just wasn't able to move the ball.
No, that is the bottom line. And then you see Gus is kind of showing a little bit of his rust with the way things are happening right now, that the team adjusted to Sage Rosenfels during the week.
Offside. 98 of the defense. That's a neutral zone infraction.
Nick
5-yard
Eason,
penalty, still
98.
3rd down.
And I take that back. That was on the defense. But it's, you know, you said you can game plan all you want, but you've still got to be smart. You've got to take advantage of the plays when you get the play, but you got to also make sure you don't have the bad plays. There's been a few too many of them today.
There has been that. Now a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, America's most watched network.
is this agent.
To start the fourth quarter at Cleveland Browns Stadium, where the Browns have been in command since the opening play from scrimmage for them. A 75-yard touchdown run by Reuben Drones, and they've never looked back. Romeo Crennel now going with his defensive unit, trying to put pressure on the injured Gus Frerotte, who's been called on to play today because Sage Rosenfels was ineffective throwing the ball. So now bad finger and all. Frerotte comes in, and he's still got a gun. Very close to a pass interference call, but there's none down. The play is ruled clean. Dalen McCutcheon defending on Brian Gilmore as we look at the B-line.
Well, yeah, when Cleveland has the ball, we talked about scoring points in every quarter all the way through the game. The Browns have done that. And obviously the Miami Dolphins had to come into this game thinking shut down Reuben Drones. Look at that. 153 yards and a touchdown. It started out terrible. It only got worse for their defense, especially when you lose Zach Thomas. And Reuben Drones has been a factor they have not been able to overcome.
Here's the punt, hit downfield now. And it's Dennis Northcutt, who had the 37-yard return earlier, trying to cut back. He gets close to the 40-yard line. It was a 46-yard punt and a 10-yard return. And Fry's coming back in, changing pitchers again. Cleveland Browns Stadium. The rookie quarterback Charlie Fry from nearby Akron, a 6'4", 228-pound third-round draft choice. Back in the game, he worked the series earlier. Browns well in command of this game. And Fry's probably going to go the rest of the way, Steve.
Well, we shall see. I would imagine. Oh,
look at that play. The Dolphins finally get a turnover. It was a perfect throw. The ball was right in the hands. I think it was a catch and a fumble, wasn't it, rather than an interception?
Well, it looked like the timing was absolutely perfect from, I don't know whether it was Sam Madison or
Tillman is the guy
Tillman.
Who picks it up. Watch this now.
No,
it's right in his hand.
It's Daniels that knocks it out. He gets in there and strips it out of there. And Tavares Tillman picks it off. A good strip.
We'll have to get an official ruling
Daniels.
whether or not it was ruled. If it's an interception, it's certainly not on the quarterback.
Yeah, it was great coverage by Travis Daniels. Yeah, these guys are paid a lot of money too. They're going to make some good plays.
Rosenfels, he has one slapped back. That was precariously close to Browns defenders. Andre Davis had his hand on the ball. On the NFL Today, some interesting observations. How do you beat the Colts? Well, Dan Marino says you have to get pressure on Peyton Manning, start blitzing, and they're almost always in max protection. Two tight ends and sometimes two backs even in to block for him. He's very hard to sack. Here's a long ball, and it is a bit too long as Dalen McCutcheon was covering on the play. A fly pattern with the who will win the NFC East. Washington, or Dallas. I say the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants. They're still right in the middle of it all. And on USC's Reggie Bush, Shannon said he could gain 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing in his rookie year. I'll tell you what, I saw a lot of that game last night. That kid is amazing.
One of the three greatest players in college history, I think.
Only over 500 yards total offense last night.
One high-ranking coach in the league told us a week ago he's going to be the #1 pick in the draft, Reggie Bush. Leinart will go second.
I think you're crazy if he doesn't.
There is a sack. Sean Thompson comes in and makes the sack. Now he's another Gale Sayers, Reggie Bush.
And it just gets worse for the Dolphins. You see Gus Frerotte here. They said his arm was going forward trying to throw the pass when he got sacked, so it was not a fumble. Or actually maybe they said he was down. He was down by contact before. And Sean Thompson does a good job of finishing off the play.
And so the Dolphins have to punt again. They send out Donnie Jones, their second-year punter. Here is the ball hit downfield and coming up down the play and faking he's going to catch the ball. Back in that perfect season of '72, the first playoff win for the Dolphins was against the Browns, 20-14.
It's not wood and concrete that build a country. It's dreams. And
down and 10. They go to the run, running the clock also as Reuben Drones gets another carry. Tomorrow, Dave's All New with George Clooney, plus music from Ashley Simpson. And later this week, don't miss Philadelphia Eagles star Donovan McNabb, Claire Danes, and Stupid Human Tricks. Dave's All New all this week on CBS, America's most watched network. Tavares Tillman was on the stop.
You got a few Stupid Human Tricks up your sleeve, don't you, Don?
We might need him in this game.
The Dolphins need a few Stupid Human Tricks. That's exactly right. Look at the total yards. Dolphins -3 yards in the second half. Hard to win a football game.
And as mentioned, the Dolphins are coming off their most productive offensive day in 6 years last week, and against the world champion Patriots, when the Dolphins put up 437 yards, 360 passing. But today, no pass offense is unable to start the game. Was their regular quarterback Gus Frerotte. So Nick Saban, who says we'll make the breakthrough. It's going to happen, and this is a team now that has defeated this year in its 3 wins. 2 teams that are prime Super Bowl contenders, Carolina and Denver. And as mentioned, Tom Brady, the Patriots, after the Patriots came from behind to beat the Miami Dolphins last week, said, I think we stole one today. They felt very fortunate to get out of South Florida with a win. Penalty markers come in on a 3rd down and 7 play.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Well, I've seen a lot of delay of games today. That's unusual in the NFL. That's usually a penalty you may see once a game at the most. And now with Charlie Frye in there, the young rookie quarterback, a little bit more distracted, a little bit more caught up in things, maybe not as aware as he needs to be about that clock.
On 3rd and 12. Quantity of errors, but he's still alive as Charlie Frye, and throws downfield, and Edwards comes down with the ball for a 1st down. Well, this guy's showing why he was the 3rd pick in the draft. He's magic.
And I'll tell you what, that is what gets these people in Cleveland so excited about Charlie Frye. He did this in the preseason.
He did.
Every single game he'd run around and do something like this. You can't coach this. It's an ability, but I'll tell you what, you can't live like this either. Watch the shot he takes right here at the end when he lets go of this ball. You're going to get in trouble taking that kind of shot and putting the ball up under those conditions. Now, on the other end of that, he had Braylon Edwards, who's a pretty darn aggressive guy going to the football. And that was a heck of a catch, going up and grabbing that thing. And a great play by Charlie Frye. But you can't live like that in the NFL. No way.
Don't live long. Long ball downfield. Going at Antonio Bryant as the ball skips off his hand. Travis Daniels was covering on the play, the rookie cornerback, 21.
Very, very good coverage by the veteran Sam Madison right there. Antonio Bryant doing whatever he could do to get up and get that ball. You love the effort as a quarterback. If you see your receivers going up after the football like that, it gives you a confidence to put that ball up there, because you know, worst case scenario, they're not going to let the defender go up and catch the football.
Well, this game, Steve, certainly a confidence builder for the Browns, who next week go to the Minnesota to play the Vikings. Frye, the rookie, hands off, and the ball's to the 35-yard line on a 2nd down and 10 play. Jacksonville, a good-looking team, having some problems today in Nashville. Here's Greg Gumbel.
Don, in Nashville, this game has gone from a quiet first half to a busy second half. Byron Leftwich, 18 yards to Ernest Wilford. That touchdown ties it. 21-21 under 3 minutes to play in the 3rd.
Tennessee struggling, and Jacksonville, we saw them last week, Steve. That's a tough outfit.
That's a good football team, and I'll tell you, give Jeff Fisher credit for the job he's doing with his 2-7 Titans, playing a very, very good football team, playing them tough and actually in control of that game for the most part.
Here's a throw to Braylon Edwards out to the 40, short of a 1st down on a 3rd down throw. 3rd and 8. Travis Daniels up quickly to make the tackle, and the punt team comes out for the Cleveland Browns. Well, we know the next time we meet with Romeo Crennel, Steve, where we'll be sitting, because we were here a couple of weeks ago when they beat Tennessee, and we met with Romeo. We all sat around a table. He came in the other day, and he moved me to one spot and you to another. He says, this is where you were sitting last time. This is where you
he said that was the last game we won. We need to sit exactly the way we were that last game, and we had to play a little musical chairs there.
Wes Welker comes up on a punt. Well, he can move. Wes Welker works the sideline. Dolphins have it when we come back.
Through the air.
Well, you have two receivers who actually get open on that fourth down play. Watch the tight end, Tooman. He goes here. The fullback Kreider is out, but Bart Scott, the speed, he comes in and he's going to get the sack. So you're able to get receivers open, but you don't block it. You don't protect the quarterback, and see, you have guys open all over the place. Quarterback doesn't have time to throw the ball.
Handoff, Chester Taylor. And Taylor is pushed out of bounds, shy of a first down by Joey Porter.
There's no money.
No.
One play, they're rubbing his back, and he was testing.
They may be stretching.
Essential tool used.
In the playoff chase, entering action today at 6-3. Here we've got 2.5 to go in the third quarter. Chester Taylor extending the arm, and he is shot short of a first down. Kimo von Oelhoffen helping to make.
We'll take you there.
Violent video games are being played for real on the streets of Miami.
I suggest you play it.
Follow the clues in a shocking new case.
One of these guys was wearing heels.
Then after the show, go to CBS.com to see a major secret revealed.
We're still in play.
New CSI Miami. CBS tomorrow.
Last week against the Patriots, the Dolphins 360 yards pass offense. Today 26. Sage Rosenfeld's 18 started the game because of the finger injury to Gus Frerotte. And now Freratte's in there, bad finger and all, trying to get something going. They go to the run to Ronnie Brown, the rookie from Auburn, the second player picked in the last draft, and he drives the ball out to about the 44-yard line. Got 5, tackled by Kennard Lang.
Yeah, the Dolphins have 2 yards passing. The lowest in team history is only 26 yards. I would venture to say Gus will find a way to get past that, but I mean that is really bad. And boy, I'll tell you, Nick Saban and this staff, he works the staff hard, but I guarantee you they'll be putting the hours in this next week.
They might have the pads on.
Yeah, the coaches too.
Yeah, could be some hitting down there this week.
Yeah.
Andre Davis with another tackle for the Browns. Nick Saban and Romeo Crennel both come off the Belichick coaching tree. Nick Saban, a defensive coordinator for 4 years under Belichick here in Cleveland in the 90s. And of course, Romeo, part of those 3 Super Bowl winners in 4 years at New England as defensive coordinator. Really a breakout game in the Crennel era, new as it is from the Browns. By far their best game. And there's apparently Rosenfeld, Steve. Well, I'm going to bring him back in. It appears that Gus Frerotte can't throw the ball.
It looks like that. They go run the ball 3 straight times on this drive. And what a great run that was by Ronnie Brown, by the way.
First down. First down of the half for the Dolphins.
Jeez.
Here's a look, a defensive tail. Bill Parcells, the progenitor of all this. Then Belichick, of course, was his Super Bowl defensive coordinator for 2 years with the Giants. Those 2 winners, Crennel and Nick Saban, and on it goes. And here's a long ball, a beautifully thrown ball, but the defense is perfect. As Chris Chambers was running the fly, and Dalen McCutcheon screened him away from the ball.
Yeah, there Gus just showing that he still can throw the ball. I think that for whatever reason, they just wanted to make sure they get the first down, pump the ball to Ronnie Brown a little bit.
So Nick Saban, he almost quit coaching in football. He played at Kent State and went for the Kent State head coaching job and didn't get it. And he thought, maybe I'm not cut out to be a head coach. Well, that was certainly proven differently as he coached Michigan State, then LSU, and now the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Ronnie Brown runs. Sean Thompson makes the stop.
But I'll tell you, it's days like today when you're the coach of a team playing like the Dolphins that make you really wonder if it's worth it. You know, he's had so many great days, and obviously one of the premier young coaches in this league. But these days take a lot out of you.
Man, there's a fastball. But it's incomplete, so Rosenfels looks on from the bench as he watches some of the throws that he wishes he was making by Farrat.
And this ball is just a rocket. I mean, should it have been caught? Heck yeah. That was a ball that definitely should have been caught by Samuels. Or Cliff Russell, excuse me.
He had a lot of pop on that.
He did. Yeah, Gus has got as strong an arm as anybody in the league. He can rifle that ball. Oh, yeah.
Well, here's a big down now. 4th down and 4 for the Dolphins. Beautifully thrown and taken in by Wes Welker. Running those slant patterns, and all of a sudden it looks like Gus Farrat, Steve, has found his range as he's really throwing strikes.
He's thrown a few good balls. They're starting to have at least some positive things happen. But you would expect in this situation, you know, Cleveland is not going to give up the big play. They're going to give up the underneath stuff over the middle of the field, try and make sure they've got to eat up some clock while they're playing.
Goes back the other way and does a good job of getting the ball out of bounds because there was nobody open. Tomorrow on CBS, violent video games are being played for real on the streets of Miami. Don't miss a new episode of Monday's #1 show, CSI Miami, on CBS, America's most watched network.
And what the Cleveland Browns are playing for now is you don't get many chances to shut a team out. That's what they're playing for. They're talking about it as Ricky Williams dances and picks up about 8 yards, showing he's still got those nifty moves back and forth, side to side.
Ricky, of course, a non-meat eater. He's a vegetarian, doesn't even eat fish. He said if it has eyes, he does not eat it.
Boy, that kind of limits your diet a little bit.
It's only wonder if he ate flounder, which has an eye only on one side of its body.
Now, see,
I guess no eyes.
You are a plethora of knowledge.
That's very good knowledge. Here is the handoff as they go back to Williams, protecting the ball. Well, I tell you, when you talk to Nick Saban about Ricky Williams, his attitude, his work ethic, I mean, he really lauded him the way he approaches football and how happy he is to be back.
And he admitted that he wasn't here last year, so really all he had to base his relationship on with Ricky Williams was this year. So that's why he wanted to put it to his team, to the leaders of his team, to decide if he would be welcomed back. And his teammates said, we're comfortable with it.
Ooh. McMichael, who had what we thought was a touchdown catch earlier in the game, but ruled he had stepped out of bounds and therefore was ineligible when he caught the ball. One skipped off, and it sounded like he felt a strong safety coming his way.
Well, and that ball was a little bit behind him. And again, you know, we've talked about Gus and his injury to the finger. There's no way. He's not what you would consider to be an incredibly accurate quarterback. He's a quarterback that takes chances, pushes the ball up the field. But you can tell that he's a little bit off even with his accuracy right now, because that ball was a little bit off behind McMichael.
Ricky Williams, a guy who can get low, is taken down by Andre Davis. The Browns will be looking to re-sign Andre Davis, this 4th-year linebacker out of Florida, who has been sensational. He had 20 tackles in one game against the Packers this season, averaging over 12 tackles a game. He's way over that today. He had 50 more tackles than the #2 tackler on the team coming into this game. Rosenfeld throws to the end zone, and it is almost picked.
And that was Gus Farrat.
Marty Booker was the target.
Sorry about that, Don. That was Gus Farrat just taking a chance, trying to give his big receiver Marty Booker a chance to make a play.
Bodden's the guy that almost got it, Lee Bodden. Coming next, Peyton Manning and the Colts look to stay perfect when they meet with Carson Palmer and the Bengals. Some of you will see the Jets battle the Broncos, or the Bills take on the Chargers. We'll be talking more about that. A tremendous matchup. The unbeaten Colts at Cincinnati. Blitzers come. Throw, and a beautifully executed pass play and a rollout as the ball is on the sure hands of Chris Chambers. Be a first down for the Miami Dolphins.
And you can sense the crowd getting into this too. It's been a long time since they've had a shutout here in Cleveland, I'm sure. And they used to have some pretty dominant defenses back in the day. They know that there's only about 5 minutes left in this ball game. If they can keep the Dolphins off the board, it'd be quite an accomplishment.
4 years ago in November of '01. Here's a throw down to the goal line. There was a shutout pitch by the Browns defense against Cincinnati, 18-0. That target was Randy McMichael, the tight end. Ben Taylor covering as a 2nd and 10 comes up with less than 5 minutes to play now in the game. Dolphins make the long trip back to Florida, and then they head west to play the Raiders next week.
Yep, back across the country with not a whole lot to build on from this week. You know, when you talk to Nick Saban, he was telling us yesterday in our meeting that despite the fact that they've lost 3 straight games, the bottom line is that they've been playing well enough to win each of those games. They've been putting on at least a product that you could say, hey guys, we are close. Well, he can't come into that locker room or that team meeting room tomorrow and say, guys, we could have won that game. We were right there. We just got to get over the hump. It's a whole different situation. They haven't been beaten like this to this point this year, and it's going to make Nick Saban's job that much more difficult.
Let's see if we can get it in the end zone now as they go to the out pass. Ball is on the hands of Marty Booker. And he's inside the 10-yard line on a 3rd down and 8 play. He got about 4. Flag is down. And here is Bernie Kukar.
Illegal use of hands, number 78 offense. That's a 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Geno James, the left guard, called for illegal use of hands.
And it's one of those things again, Don, you're sitting here saying, you know, what can you possibly take positive out of this? Well, if they can score a touchdown here, it would at least make these guys feel like, okay, we didn't get shut out. We had a bad day, but now they get another bad penalty at a bad time. Geno James right there, just making it very difficult to get anything accomplished today for him. Here comes a blitz from Cleveland.
Boy, everybody's coming. Timing throw, going for the ball, and it's knocked away by Lee Bodden. Marty Booker was the target, a 5-year Chicago Bear player before coming to Miami last season. Bodden's playing really well at left corner.
Bodden has made a lot of plays today. He's been real solid for the Browns this year. And Marty Booker been the most consistent receiver for the Dolphins. Had 5 catches for over 100 yards last week, but not a lot of action in that passing game today.
So now it's 4th and 18 for Farrat and the Dolphins. Another all-out blitz. Good blocking by the Dolphins, but the ball is tipped away. Really good coverage. The veteran Ray Mickens, a 10-year veteran, tips the ball away, and with 3:56 to go, Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator, salutes his guys as they stop the Dolphins on 4th down and continue the shutout.
Life offers a simple formula for long-term success. Protect what really matters. Grow it with care. That's our approach to planning for your future at Prudential Retirement. For decades, we've used our strength to help people and organizations plan for retirement with intelligent retirement solutions designed to both grow wealth and protect it. Growth and protection. The strong and steady approach to retirement at Prudential Financial.
You've waited, you've dreamed, and now it's finally back. Endless shrimp at Red Lobster. The only time of year to enjoy all the shrimp you can eat. But endless shrimp ends soon at Red Lobster.
For years, E-Trade stood outside, throwing stones at the financial establishment. Now that we've matured and offer everything from trading to banking, we're doing it from inside. Be extraordinary at eTrade.com.
It seems like everyone's rushing to get things done faster. But sometimes the best solution is to slow things down. Budweiser Select starts with the finest American and Bavarian hops. Then we brew it longer, giving the beer a full flavor that's easy to drink. Why do we slow things down to make Budweiser Select? It's worth it. Budweiser Select. Expect everything.
Thanksgiving night. Feast or famine for the survivors. New episode CBS Thursday.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Prudential Financial. Choose Prudential Financial to help you grow and protect your wealth. And by new Budweiser Select, brewed for a crisp taste that finishes clean. Be selective.
It's been that kind of a day for the Dolphins. Hands on the head. Frustration in the Browns with their biggest game in a long time. A shutout, 22-0. Reuben Drones, who's had a ton of yards today and a lot of carries, gets another one tonight on 60 Minutes. If it's illegal to gamble on the internet, then why are millions of Americans doing it? Illegally gambling. Plus behind the scenes with U2, followed by a new cold case, then Mary Tyler Moore in the world premiere holiday movie Snow Wonder. Tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. A timeout on the field with 3:49 left to play in the game, and the Browns in command.
CBS Wednesday. Imagine being stuck on a train. Nobody move! With a madman.
This guy's a psychotic. Psychotic with hostages.
The show that's kept over 48 million on the edge of their seats.
He's gonna kill somebody.
Takes you on a thrill ride. New Criminal Minds. Then, what this doll has to say could reveal the secret.
Oh my God!
To a murder.
This little doll was worth dying for.
A new CSI New York CBS Wednesday.
We're back. Live action. Cleveland Browns Stadium. Browns with the lead. Go back to Reuben Drones. Drones all day long. That's his 28th carry. Now for almost 160 yards. Coming up next, the unbeaten Colts at Cincinnati or the Jets at Denver. Buffalo at San Diego. Check your local listings. What do you think, Steve? Can the Colts go undefeated?
Wow, man. The way they're playing right now, you'd have to say, can they? Yes. But
what a schedule, though.
Will they? I don't think so. I don't think it's possible. And you look at Dan's advice, Boomer's advice. They're both right on. If you want to beat New England, you got to do something people haven't done yet.
Beat the Colts too.
That's what did I say New England? I meant the Colts. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Dan and Boomer gave very good advice on how to get after those guys, but it's easier said than done.
I don't think they can go unbeaten. They got the Steelers going into their building in San Diego also, but they also have to go to Jacksonville. That's going to be really hard to win, and even harder they have to play at Seattle.
And Jacksonville always gives them a dog fight. They play them very, very tough.
And Jacksonville is a tough outfit. Boy, they're a hitting team. Dilfer back in, scrambles on third down. Well short of the first down, taken down by Jason Taylor. It's not a sack because he got plus yards. This is the Dolphins' first trip to Cleveland since '93.
What happened in 1993? Well, Dolphins fans especially, remember this right there. A young, strapping Dan Marino went down with the Achilles injury that sidelined him for the rest of that season, and Scott Mitchell came in, finished out the game. Dolphins ended up winning that day, I believe. And
he threw for 2 touchdowns, Mitchell.
Yep.
Got the big contract next year with Detroit.
Got himself a nice contract out of that deal, yes. But it was a bad day for Dan Marino, and I'll tell you what, he came back and it did okay for himself, don't you think?
He did, absolutely did. Couldn't have done better. Last summer he went in the Hall of Fame.
That's exactly right.
Here is the punter now, Kyle Richardson, hitting the ball downfield. End over end. Wes Welker. That's some football player. He kicked a field goal for the Dolphins last year. In high school, he kicked a 57-yard field goal, number 83, Wes Welker. Tomorrow on CBS, it's all new, beginning with TV's hit comedy lineup, The King of Queens, How I Met Your Mother, 2.5 Men and Out of Practice, followed by Monday's #1 show, CSI Miami, plus The Late Show with David Letterman. Tomorrow on CBS, America's most watched network.
All right, so both Gus Frerotte and Sage Rosenfels have thrown for 14 yards apiece today. And the Dolphins have nothing to show for it, so see if Gus can find a way to get him into the end zone.
Well, what a beautiful down. Yeah, these guys good. Or Brian Gilmore, who you don't hear a lot about. makes one of the catch for the ages.
Oh, great throw and a great
Unbelievable.
catch. And that's what Gus Frerotte brings to the table when he's playing, when he's had a chance to prepare for the week. If you give him a seam, he will stick the ball in there and he'll make you pay the price. And he's, give him credit for being out there today with a broken finger. That was a heck of a throw right there.
And a spectacular catch.
Oh, yeah.
39-yard catch, a diving fingertip catch. Now the run by Ricky Williams, and there's not much going on as again it's stuffed by Andre Davis. As right now all the Dolphins can really have as a motivation is to avert the shutout.
Right. They just, you do not, believe me, when Gus Frerotte got that team together when they went on the field, you do not want to be shut out. That is the ultimate slap in the face if you can't get a point on the board.
Again an all-out blitz. Frerotte throws, the receiver tripped, fell down. It's ruled no foul. Randy McMichael was the target. So that brings up 3rd down now, 3rd and 10, but you want to get on the board, Steve, but you really take it's almost an indignity to kick a field goal.
Well, you know what? It's at the point in the game where I think you can justify it. If you're not going to win the game, and if you're in a position where you want to just avert the shutout, you can make a case for it either way. I'd like to go for the touchdown, but
they're going to do that now. But then 4th down comes. Here's another big blitz, a tip ball incomplete. Andre Davis got his hand on the ball. This guy is some player. Double-digit tackles, 2 passes defense for Davis.
And you saw Dalen McCutcheon in great position to make a play on that ball anyway, but Andre Davis has been so consistent for this Cleveland Browns team all year. And it comes down to this, 4th down.
4th and goal. Browns fans up and cheering their defense to get the shutout. Gus Frerotte from the shotgun. Fade pattern, tipped away, no foul. And the shutout continues as the ball turns over to the Cleveland Browns. Marty Booker was the target, and defending on the play was Dalen McCutcheon along with Chris Crocker.
And when you're facing 4th and goal from the 10-yard line, Dalen McCutcheon playing it right, saying don't let Marty Booker get behind me. Gus Frerotte just saying we're going to make it a jump ball, let my big receiver go up and try and make a catch. And the Cleveland Browns defense, their whole team, their whole city can celebrate what appears to be a shutout at this point.
So the Browns about to go to 4-6 on the year. Miami to 3-7, with the Raiders coming up next Sunday at Oakland. Dilfer hands off as the Browns now look to run the clock. Terrell Smith, who caught a touchdown pass, runs the ball. And we're down to the 2-minute warning at Cleveland.
If you look at the Ford Motor Company, innovation has driven everything we've done, starting with the Model T and the assembly line. What we've done is recommitted ourselves to American innovation, dramatically ramping up our commitment to hybrids. We'll have about the same number of vehicles that'll be ethanol capable. And we're using the best minds from Volvo and elsewhere in the company to dedicate ourselves to safety innovation. Innovation will be the compass that guides this company going forward.
You didn't type in your password.
Don't have to. Biometrics.
What?
Wherever I am, I just swipe, password goes in, I'm connected. Biometrics.
Oh, bionic finger, cool. It's like 10 times stronger than a regular finger.
No, it's for passwords. No, it's more like na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Na-na-na-na-na-na. Better.
Secure wireless, made easy. Only on a ThinkPad with Intel Centrino mobile technology.
Be brilliant with a diamond solitaire ring from Zales.
tomorrow. How old is Ellen's new girlfriend?
Her first Christmas was the first Christmas.
A new 2.5 Men.
Her birthstone is lava.
Then.
So this is where they're keeping all the turkeys.
It wouldn't be Thanksgiving without the traditional holiday disaster.
What'd I hit?
A new low.
New Out of Practice after 2.5 Men. CBS tomorrow.
And there you see the quarterback coach, Jason Garrett, a good friend of mine, teammate, trying to talk to Gus Frerotte, give him something to look forward to. But look at this, 55 yards passing today. And the key thing for these guys, they've been very inopportune in penalties, terrible penalties, 3 turnovers. They were 2 of 12 on 3rd down. It's hard to sustain any drives when you can't convert 3rd downs.
Drones runs again. Well, really the storyline of this game, it was an early knockout, and Drones put on the punch that did it. First play from scrimmage for the Browns, he ran 75 yards for a touchdown, and the Browns never looked back.
No, and Reuben's disappointed in himself right there. You can see he wanted to get down in bounds, and I guarantee you that Trent Dilfer got the word from Romeo Crennel. Tell the running backs to stay in bounds, let that clock run. And Reuben got to the sideline, couldn't get himself down in time to keep that clock running.
That's about all Reuben's done wrong, if that's wrong. At 29 carries for 165 yards in that opening run touchdown.
Yeah, I think we'll let him slide on that one little mistake, don't you?
It's amazing how guys can beat a few different teams. He was with you out in Denver with him. He was at Detroit. He was with the Dolphins a couple weeks as a practice squad player.
Right. And Zach Thomas told us yesterday he can't believe that Reuben Drones was on their practice squad for 2 weeks.
And Zach, of course, Thomas did not return to the game. Right shoulder injury suffered near the end of the first half. So he did not come back onto the playing field, Zach Thomas. There's Ricky Williams. He got a lot of carries today. As we remind you that the holiday weekend rocks as Darren McFadden and the Arkansas Razorbacks have their annual showdown against the Bengal Tigers of LSU, led by Jamarcus Russell. That's Friday at 2:30 Eastern Time. Nick Saban, of course, came from LSU, directed the Tigers to a national championship, a share of one with Southern California. Now they go to the run, and the ball is driven at the line of scrimmage, and it looks like, let's see, the linesmen come in and they give him the spot for the first down.
They're right on that line.
And if they, the marker, the chain gang is coming out now. If they do have the first down, that will enable the Browns to run out the clock.
And this might seem insignificant, but as an offense, we always talk about it before the game. You want to end up with the ball on the field, or you want to be winning the game and hit that knee. They call it the victory formation.
Yeah, he's complaining about the spot, I think with good reason. It looked like he was short on the carry.
And they got it. They got it. So you get to go to the formation that every offensive player wants to finish the game, and you got the ball on the field, running the clock out. Quarterback gets to take a knee. You call that the victory formation. Nick Saban doesn't think it was a very good spot. I'll tell you what.
I think he's got a legitimate complaint.
I think
he
you're
wanted
right,
to get the ball back and try to avert this shutout.
You don't think that guy is competitive?
Oh, look at his record.
I mean, unbelievable. Last time the Dolphins were shut out in 2003. But Nick Saban, I'll tell you, he's got some fire, and his teammates are going to see him fighting and competing and getting after it all the way to the end. It's a good example for his players to follow.
So the Browns go to the protect mode as they'll take the knee and let the clock run. Saban, fiery winner. He wanted to get the ball back and give his team, his offense, a chance to try to get points. And for Romeo Crennel, his really breakthrough game, the first big win for him. And of course, they did beat the Bears, but this is their most decisive win.
Yeah, they took control early and never looked back. That defense played super. They got Reuben Drones going early in the ball game, managed to get Charlie Fry into the mix. Again, you know, think what you want about that, but that was a priority today, obviously. And they got it done and still came out with a win.
Second down snap, another knee, and the clock winds down. The executive producers of the NFL on CBS are Sean McManus and Tony Petitti. Today's game produced by Victor Frank, directed by Andy Goldberg. We thank all the men and women of CBS Sports who've joined us today as the Cleveland Browns have a 22-0 shutout win. Now for Steve Berline, this is Don Criqui. Thanks for being with us